Welcome to Sacred Wandering with Keira. My friend, this is a corner of the world where time stops, where the noise in our minds quiet, where we have soft hearts and we open our palms and we ask. This is a place where we receive. I invite you to join me as we wander through the sacred together. Welcome to Sacred Wandering. Good morning, my love. I welcome you here into our space. It's been very hard for me to get back into the rhythm. I took that Christmas break and like anything, right? When you stop working out, it's so hard to get back in. And I had found a rhythm with this podcast. And so I'm just committing. I'm coming back. And I'm really going to create this space for this. And right now, I'm sitting in our JOA house, this beautiful house here in Idaho. I've been sitting with authors for the last 2 days. Today is the final day. And I'm staring out my window from my prayer nook here. The most beautiful prayer corner in this house. And the sun is starting to rise. And every day when the sun rises, it's always magical. But today I am welcoming it in with a heart filled with gratitude like I never have before. We have had 2 weeks of what they call an inversion, where it's like we live in a snow globe. Where there's this compression of weather over our sky. And I haven't seen the sun in 2 weeks. And right now, oh my gosh, to see the sun rise fills me with gratitude that I didn't know existed, for the sun. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love the sun. And that brings me to this concept of how weird is it that the sun was always there? It was always there, but there was something blocking it. The sun didn't turn off. There was just a blockage so that we couldn't see it. And that's the message we're going to work with today, is that God is always there. God doesn't leave. It's just sometimes we block God. And we block God through a bunch of different ways. When we worship fear, when we worship doubt, we block God when we don't take care of our bodies. So our bodies are in an utter state of exhaustion. And so our nervous system can't actually sit with God. We block God when we place rage at the center of our being. But God is always there, just like the sun is always here. And then the days that we release the blocks, we feel God arrive and we think, where did God go? But God was always there. And so today, as we go into prayer, this is what we're going to do. We're going to pick up whatever blockages you have. Maybe it's physical exhaustion. Maybe it's fear, doubt, rage, bitterness. Oh, bitterness is one of the greatest blockers of all. Resentment. We're going to pick it up. We're going to put it into God. We're going to allow God to take it, to transfigure it, to turn it into the frequency of miracles. And then I'm going to ask that God will touch our cells, that our cells will begin to move at the frequency of God, that our cells will begin to awaken, to soften in the presence of God. just like my body is softening in the presence of this beautiful sunrise. The oranges and the pinks are just filling the sky, and I can see viscerally, like my body softening with the relief that the sun has come back. And may that be so for your cells. That your cells may soften to be in the presence of God. And then I'm going to ask that God will place his hands on our head to give us a blessing, that we may receive the blessing that is for us today. And I will be quiet while you pray. I wish this podcast was visual today, because right now, this very minute, the sun is peeking its head up over the mountains, and it's streaming through the window of my prayer corner. And I feel my heart rejoicing. Never have I ever been so grateful to see the sun. And isn't that how it is when we begin to feel God again? After a moment of spiritual inversion, after a moment where the skies in our hearts and our minds have been blocking the very God that we love. When the warmth of God arrives again, we can breathe all the way to the edges of our lungs. But unlike the weather that I have no power over, I have complete sovereignty and power over the blockages that I place between me and God. And so do you. And so we get to open our palms and ask God, God, what is my most important action that I take today? And then you're going to listen. You're going to receive. You're going to write it down. Today, as you leave our prayer corner, the invitation is to get clear, asking yourself, am I blocking God? And am I ready for the sun to return? Am I ready for the warmth of God's presence to return to my life? Am I willing to hand over the offering of rage and bitterness, doubt, despair, burnout, exhaustion? Can I give it to God so that the walls disappear? And may that walk with you today, because you deserve to feel the presence of God, not just in this tiny pocket, but always. And with that, my love, I thank you for wandering into the sacred, and I will see you tomorrow morning in our prayer corner. Thank you for wandering into the sacred with me today. If this episode moved or inspired you, I encourage you to share it. Think of someone who needs this message today and text it to them. Let's add more light to the world by welcoming people into our prayer corner together. I also want to invite you to create your own prayer corner at home, a space set apart where you can return again and again to hear God's voice. To support you, I've created the Sacred Space course, which guides you step by step in locating, creating, and dedicating your very own sacred space. You're also welcome into the Sacred Wandering Facebook group, where you can share the blessings that God is giving you and be uplifted by others walking this path. You can find both of these resources in the show notes, or just send me a DM on Instagram at Keira Brinton, and me or my team will send them directly to you. I want to thank you for being one of the rare humans who chooses to sit at the foot of God, to ask, listen, and do. And as always, I want to thank you for wandering into the sacred with me.